Time is now 5:30 p.m. Calling to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Warwick School Committee for Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. At this time, I would ask Ms. Tedeschi, please call the roll.
Mr. Galligan?
Here.
Ms. Hazelwood? Ms. Kirby-Chapman? Mr. Wiggins? Mr. Testa? Thank you.
5 present. We have a quorum. If I could have everybody willing and able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have no recognitions this evening, so I'd be looking for a motion to go into closed session for discussion and/or action regarding those items of business exempt from open meetings under Rhode Island General Laws RIGL 42-46-5 A1, A2, A4, A8, and A9. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're in executive session at 5:31. Time is now 6:30 p.m. Calling back to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Warwick School Committee for Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. Looking for a motion to seal the minutes of executive session made by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Testa. Looking for a second. Seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. There are no votes taken in executive session. At this time, we're on to the public comment portion of our meeting. This public comment portion is for agenda items only. Individual comments will be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with public comments not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and the administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. This public comment period is for agenda items only. There is a second public comment session later in the meeting for all other topics or concerns. Members of the public are permitted to speak during both public comment periods. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record. For those new to our meetings, the podium is down here to my left, and please just turn that microphone on when you get going. You can go one after another as we get going here. So.
I got it. Good evening. Mary Townsend, Special Ed Teacher Assistant, Wise Union President. I know that I'm not going to go into length or detail, but I understand that you received my email 1 and email 2. So I would respectfully request that the school committee deny the request for the administrative position in the finance office, or at the very least, table it. Otherwise, I have no other comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend.
Hello, Darlene Netco, English teacher at Tollgate, going on year 39 in the classroom, and WTU president. I just want to point out that there are some new positions for teachers on the agenda, the kindergarten and the TA position that goes along with it, for example. And I expect you already know that these are necessary and that you are going to vote for them, but I just wanted to point out that the administration is doing its due diligence and presenting these positions as they need to be filled. Throughout the course of the summer, for kindergarten especially, families register their children and the district realizes they need to open classrooms. So that's why these positions appear on the agenda for you to vote on, and they are necessary. I happen to know anecdotally that there are some other positions that might be coming before you. And so just so you know, they are necessary. Nobody's padding anything. And I will just concur with Mrs. Townsend that I don't know why you're adding that other position that she referenced. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Jacob, anything? Nope. Okay. Seeing none, we are going to close public comment at 6:34 p.m. And we are on to recommended actions, routine matters. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the minutes of public session, July 14th, 2026.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the minutes of executive session, July 14th, 2026.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval of the warrants from August 11th, 2026.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa and Ms. Hazelwood,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're on to announcements, personnel as presented by Director Jakes.
Thank you, Chair.
I'm going to start tonight with our new appointments. So Warwick Public Schools is excited to welcome Brian Dillon in the role of Executive Director of Elementary Education Accountability and Compliance. Amy Pinero as the Coordinator of Capital Construction and Bonds. Madison DeLude as a Controller for Finance. Michelle Swallow, Senior Grant and Bond Accountant in Finance. Rachel Granoff, Special Education Teacher at Windman Middle School. Kelly Okradzinski, a Special Education Teacher at Windman Middle School. Jamie Sweet, Special Education Teacher at Windman Middle School. Helen Mercurio, Social Worker at Holloman Elementary. And Casey McGovern, Science Teacher at Veterans Middle School. For your approval, we have some retirements and resignations as well. Mr. Michael Polini, with 51 years of service for Warwick Public Schools, is retiring as a special educator from the Career and Tech Center.
Been looking for a motion to move approval on the retirement as presented.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hazelwood. Thank you to that individual for their 51 years of dedicated service to Warwick Public Schools.
Deserves
Uh,
retirement.
Yes, Superintendent.
I'd personally like to take a moment and recognize Mr. Polini. He committed 51 years of his career to supporting students in special education. Not only did he serve the students, but he also served in the military prior to entering public education. So congratulations, Mike. Well deserved. I wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Superintendent. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I always find these votes funny because if we said no to the retirement, would that person stay? Director Jakes.
All right, and finally tonight, we have some resignations. Mr. Andrew Longo, Principal at Greenwood Elementary. David Wilson, Math Teacher at Veterans Middle School. Julia Cervera Bianchi, Speech Language Therapist at Scott and Oakland Beach Elementary School. Melissa Quill, School Psychologist at Cedar Hill. And Madison Broder, a one-on-one teacher assistant at the Warwick Early Learning Center.
I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the resignations as presented. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And Ms. Jakes, would you like to go through the appointments? Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Thank you, Director Jakes. We're now on to donations and correspondences. There was a donation in the amount of $332 from Warwick Veterans Memorial High School, class of 1966, Pauline Stravato Lever, to Warwick Veterans Middle School Library. So we want to thank Miss Pauline Lever for her very kind $332 donation to Warwick Veterans Middle School Library. It's great to see a former Hurricane come back and donate to this school. So thank you. We're now on to new business. We have a very light agenda tonight, and we're going to kick it off with three great presentations, or updates, rather. So at this time, I would turn it over to Dr. Antonelli for discussion presentation, iReady End of Year 25 to 26 District Data and Implementation Review.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to just quickly go over how we ended the school year with our elementary and middle schools and our iReady end of year data, and see how we compare to the state and everyone really across the nation who participates in this. Okay. All right. Did I get the clicker the wrong way? I think I did. Sorry. Yeah. Can you start from the beginning again? Okay. Okay. All right. There we are. Okay. So right here is how we did as a district in the spring at the end of the school year. And if you look at how we did compared to, this is Rhode Island, everyone who participates in the diagnostic, in the nation, everyone who participates in the diagnostic. So if you look at how we did compared to that, Warwick is in pretty good shape. Our students who are on level or above, that percentage is a little bit higher than the state and the nation. And we have less students performing below level as well. So that's some good news for us. And this is a breakdown by grade level. Our district compared to the state and the nation. So same pattern. We're doing better than the rest of our counterparts in the state who are participating in the nation in each grade level, as you can see that. Kindergarten, that we had some really great end of year data there in our kindergartens as a district. And even in first grade, we had hardly any students performing below level, second grade as well. Okay. And this is grades 3, 4, and 5. Trend continues. We're performing much better than what we're seeing in the state as a whole and in the nation. So congratulations to all our teachers, all our students, all our principals, the hard work that you're doing. We can see it paying off here. Students are really progressing. We're really closing. Those students are performing 2 or more grade levels below in that tier 3 level. So that's great to see. This is our middle schools. And again, same trend. Even our middle schools are performing better than overall as our state did and the nation. So this is everyone who participates in iReady diagnostic. Okay. And this is overall how it's changed the past couple of years. We did see a little bit of an increase from 23-24 to 24-25, but then the past 2 years, it's kind of stayed steady. We still have a good amount of students performing at or above level and a small amount in that below level. So what we're doing is working, and hopefully that will just continue. And towards the end of the presentation, we'll see how we can close that gap even more. Okay. So this is reading. The last data was math. This is our reading, and we're seeing the same for reading. At the end here is how we did as a district in the spring. This is how the state did. This is how the nation did. So again, our red, our students performing below grade level 2 or more years, is a lot less than how the overall state and nation is looking. In our green, our students on level and above level, that band is a lot bigger than our state and our nation. So that's great to see. This is our breakdown for each grade level. Same type of data presented here, how we did as a district, how the state did, and how the nation did. And we're seeing the same trend in reading as we were seeing in math, where our performance is much higher than the other two. So that's great to see as well. And even that red band, if you look at kindergarten, doesn't really have red because they're new, right? They don't have a lot more grade levels below to go, so we don't see a red band in kindergarten. You can see that in first grade. We don't really have any. We have a tiny sliver there, which is not even enough to count, and just a little bit in our second grade. Okay. Third, fourth, and fifth grade. We have a little bit more red in those grades, but we're still performing much higher than our state and our nation. And this is our middle schools overall, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Same trend. This is for reading. And this is our reading over the past few years. So our data over the past few years has remained pretty much the same, which means we're maintaining where we are. We have a good amount of students mid or on grade level, and just a small amount below grade level. And hopefully we see that continue. That I'd like to see a little more growth and see some of those red drop off. This is our grid that shows overall our median performance. So that's the middle. That means there's scores above and scores below. So our median growth for the district is 111%. And we have just about all our grade levels in the quadrant we like to see. So we have growth and performance compared here on our graph. And you always want to be on this right side of the graph where you're seeing high performance, and then this top quadrant will show growth. And almost everybody is in high performance, high growth. So that's good to see for our district as well. This is mathematics. This is where all our schools fell. So just about everyone is hovering right in that middle or right in that top quadrant. Everybody is either growing or performing. We don't have anyone in this lower quadrant, which is what we wouldn't want to see, low growth, low performance. We either have people high growth, high performance, or both, or just right on the cusp. And this is just ranked by growth, how much growth the schools have had over last school year, from BOY to EOY, beginning of the year to end of year. Okay. This is our reading data. So our median, we're at about 127% growth. And same, we have our fifth grade was really having some high performance, high growth. They're kind of right up here, which is great to see. They're above the other grade levels. But everybody is in the quadrant we would want everyone to be in. Sixth grade is just right on that line, so that means they're pretty close. And here's our growth ranked by our schools for reading. Again, all our schools are in this top part. We're either having high performance, high growth, or both. And those of us who are just in the high growth, we're really close to the high performance. So again, thank you to all the hard work our teachers, students, and principals have done over the school year. It really shows here in the data, and I look forward to seeing even more growth. Now, if we really want to push and try and get rid of some of that red that's left over, we really have to think about our stretch growth. So when we set goals for students, when they take the BOY at the beginning of the year, iReady shows you a typical growth score and a stretch growth score. The typical growth score is they're learning the content they need to learn, they're going through the school year, they're getting everything they need to get. It projects kind of where they should end up at the end of the year. The stretch growth is if we're pushing them just a little bit more. Maybe we're doing some tiered instruction, maybe we're really tailoring some extra work that those students need, looking at some of the gaps and pushing them a little bit more, they'll meet their stretch growth. And you can see here on this graph, this is all the students who did meet their stretch growth. So this is students in mathematics who met their stretch growth and the growth that they made. So kindergarten, you had 88% of students performing just one grade level below. by the end of the year, those students who met their stretch growth, there's not even enough for it to count on the graph. Okay. So each grade level, you can see what a jump students can make if they meet their stretch growth. Okay. And this is the middle school data. Here in 8th grade, you had 26% three or more grade levels below. Those students who met their stretch growth jumped either into yellow or green, and almost not enough to be significant by the end of the year. These are just the students who did reach stretch growth. Okay. So stretch growth again. Oh, sorry. Going the wrong way with the clicker. This is our reading stretch growth. So students who met their stretch growth in reading, you can see what a jump they made from beginning of the year to the end of the year. This is elementary. And this is middle school. I believe that's the end of it. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Antonelli. Any comments or statements from members of the committee? Yes. Mr. Testa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Dr. Antonelli. Sorry, I had to follow along. My computer's not working, so I followed along on my phone. What surprised me a little bit, I know this is iReady, is the progress in math versus reading, right? It seems to be there's more progress being made in math, which, and my expectation would have been the opposite. It would have been more growth in reading than math. It's not a bad thing. It's just an observation.
Yeah. So, well, our median is higher in reading. Our growth median in reading is 127%. And I believe it's like 111. Yep, 111 math.
Okay.
So and that's just your median growth. And then if we go back and look, overall,
You know, like the
our
percentages.
scores so this was our scores for how we performed in reading.
Yep.
We had about 15% below level 2 or more below level, and then math we had about you had a little bit less
Right.
performing below level.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
but pretty similar data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's encouraging because math has always been. I mean, for most districts, math is the weaker of the two.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've done a lot of hard work in math
Yeah.
over the past couple of years here, so we're seeing that gain.
And I would agree with that. More generally, is there any correlation between iReady results and RICAS? Is it predictive at all?
So I could pull up some information and send
Okay.
it to you. I have information and articles from iReady as far as like how we do as a district and compare that data in RICAS. I'd have to pull that and really see for us personally, but there is like national data that says that it is predictive, especially that stretch growth, which is why I kept that in. Those students who are making that stretch growth and closing those gaps, it does say that we should see gains in iReady and RICAS for them.
And then that leads to my last question. Of the students that achieve their stretch growth, what percentage by grade level is it, and is it on par with state? Is that measured? So how the percentage of our students who are hitting their stretch growth versus the state and national average? I'm just curious. I mean, I don't expect you to have that now. I didn't think I saw it on there, but I'm just curious as to what it was and if we can go back a year to see if there's a trend or if it's flat.
I'm sure they can pull that for us, so I
Yeah.
can ask them to pull that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Testa. Ms. Hazelwood, you said you
I
had.
just have a comment.
Sure.
Well, congratulations to all the teachers who work so hard with our children, but also math interventionists, to Mr. Testa's point, math has always been a struggle for us. So to see math going in the right direction and the growth being met that we're looking for, you have to look at the whole picture. Our math interventionists are important to our district.
Absolutely.
Also, as far as I remember before, Dr. Schultz did say that the iReady often does correlate with the RICAS. So I just wanted to bring that point out as well. Thank you very much for the presentation. It's great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Hazelwood. Any other comments from members of the committee? I would just echo the remarks made by my two colleagues and add in the stretch growth in the 4th and 5th grade levels and the 8th grade levels are great to see because it's showing those children are getting ready for that next step going into the secondary levels. So kudos to all of the kids on a great job. I know they've been working very hard. It's great to always go into the schools and see those visual management boards showing the performance of the schools, and great job to all of the teachers, the math interventionists, the reading interventionists, everybody that kind of helped contribute to that growth that we have seen over the past several years. So that's all I would add. And thank you for your presentation. A lot of detail went into this. So I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to item 2, discussion update, capital and construction projects update as presented by Mr. Oliver.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight I'm going to give you an update on the summer's projects. First, I'm going to go over the Governor's Commission on Disability projects. They're going to finish up well before the start of school. That entailed a lot of site work, parking lot reconfiguration, ADA accommodations at each building. CTC Phase 1, that project is going to finish up this week. And this weekend, we are going to start moving all of CTC's material back into the building. Lippert building envelope. All the doors have been replaced except for one. We're waiting for windows to come in for the main lobby, and that will complete hopefully by August 18th, and with some minor punch list items to be completed. Welk door project. All the doors are installed. We are waiting for glass to be delivered to be installed into the new doors and windows. Veterans envelope and electrical project. The doors are being all replaced. The cafeteria windows are being replaced and electrical panels are being swapped out. The electrical portion of the project will continue through the course of the year and finish up next summer. Hoxie HVAC system. It will be 95% complete at the beginning of the school, with work being completed at the beginning of October. Miss Higgins and her team are now presently in the building, starting their cleaning process in order to get everything moved back into the building. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Just a comment and a request, or a question and a request. So with the exception of Hoxie, all of the summer projects are on time and on budget as you guys planned for the start of the school year?
Correct. There were some minor change orders that had come up. There were, like at Oakland Beach, we found a dry well that we were unaware of, so we had to make sure that was filled in and properly abandoned.
Great. And then the request would be next month for the update, if possible, in addition to providing an update on the high schools and their progress. Could you also give us an update on the remaining Phase 1 and Phase 2 bond money that is left over after this summer's projects?
Absolutely, we can do that for you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions from members of the committee? Oh, you hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've got, Maish grabbed that mic. She was ready to go. Ms. Kirby Chapman.
With the Hoxie HVAC project, are they getting AC or the air?
Yes, they're getting a
That's what I was
tempered air
thinking.
system, correct.
How many elementaries do we have that now? Do
The
you know?
tempered air system, I
Yes.
believe there's 3 of them.
Only 3.
Yep.
What was the deciding factor for Hoxie to get HVAC? Was it already put into play?
So what happened with Hoxie, the heating system was, there was no control over the heating system, so it had runaway heat, so there was no way to control the heat inside the building. So that was one of the deciding factors to have Hoxie taken care of.
So three of the, is it 9 have elementary? 12? 13. So 3 of the 13 have the HVAC. Are we slowly going to try and make it so it's equitable across the elementaries?
So we have 3 buildings that have tempered air systems,
Yeah.
and then we have a few other buildings that have air conditioning systems. So out of I believe we have 2 additional HVAC systems, so that would be a total of 5 out of
So
the.
5 out of the 13.
Correct.
Are we starting to look at the other elementaries?
So what we're doing now is we're going to evaluate how much funding we have left and make the next steps to figure out which building's gonna, it has the most need.
I'm sure they would love that.
Say that again?
I'm sure they will love that.
Yes.
All set, Ms. Kirby-Chap? Great. Mr. Tester?
Thank you. Mr. Oliver, you said with the Hoxie project will be 95% complete. It'll be operable, obviously, right? When school
Well,
starts?
yes, but there's a lot of behind the scenes still that has to be done. There'll be some work being done in the boiler room. There'll be some last minute stuff being completed up on the roof. And then we have the commissioning portion of the project that needs to be done in order to make sure that all the components are talking to each other properly.
Right, but the system itself would have to work. We couldn't occupy the building.
Well, not necessarily, because if you have fresh air coming into the building, the fresh air
Okay.
system's working, you can open the building without the HVAC
Okay,
system
as
working.
long as we'll be complying with everything.
Right,
So,
correct.
And yes, for the next meeting, we'll see what's left in the $56 million bond. The intention there at the beginning was to put these systems in all the elementary schools, and I mean, with COVID and construction inflation, it's not feasible. So we're going to have to revisit the condition of the remaining heating systems in the remaining elementary schools, and then figure out what can be done, because we have a lot of old heating systems.
Correct.
Right.
We would have to work closely with Ms. Higgins and her team to make sure that we're picking the right building. to
Yeah,
be-
and those may be boilers. We maybe just be replacing boilers at
Right,
that point.
correct at this point with the funding that's remaining, it may only be a boiler
Right. As
replacement.
much as RIDE doesn't like you to do boilers, I mean, it's the reality is there isn't money to do these systems in the rest of the schools. So,
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Wiggins.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
All right, good. So with the 95, you said October for Hoxie?
correct.
That's
That after
the-
all the commissioning and everything's done.
Early October or late October?
Say that again, sir?
Early October or late October?
I'm sorry.
Early October or late October?
Early October.
Early October.
Yep.
Because that building is basically a burn box.
Yes.
If you put more than 6 people in a room, so I think they will look forward to having that air as quickly as
Yes,
possible.
they will be. Yep.
All set? Any other comments? Ms. Hazel, anything? Nope, good. Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
No, thank you very much. Have a great evening.
We're on to discussion update. FY26 year-end review, FY27 budget update, and requisitions approved 500 to 4,999 as presented by Director Ms. Diaz.
Good evening. I'm pleased to report that the vacancies in the Finance Department are filled as of today. Both the controller and the grant and bond accountant started today. As far as fiscal 26, I did provide the preliminary fiscal 26 numbers, and I will continue to provide updates as they're available. We do have some pending invoices to be processed, our last summer pay, and some year-end entries that need to be posted before we can provide final numbers and begin the audit work. For fiscal 27, I provided the preliminary July numbers. We continue to work through some munis issues, so not all of the expenses that we would have expected for July have been posted, but I'll continue to provide updates as we continue to work through those processes. And also for fiscal 27, I am currently reviewing the budget allocations to ensure that the spread has been allocated properly. And as I continue to review and identify budget transfers that could be made within departments or within line items, I will continue to do that and keep you abreast of that as we move forward. And that's all I have right now.
Great. Anybody have any comments? My only request would be for next month, if you could give us a kind of a pretty close to accurate figure on how FY26 concluded in terms of, what the deficit was for FY26. I know we were tracking one, so if you could just kind of help us out in providing that information to the public as well as ourselves, that would be good to know.
Will do.
I know that you're still reconciling, so I didn't want to bother you and inflate your email with that request when you're still actively working through it, so thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
And then one other request, could you put the superintendent's approved FY27 budget onto the school department website, or have someone do that for the public? That was an inquiry that came in recently, so that way they can go online and go under our district financial documents.
Yes, I did provide that, but I will make sure that it gets updated. So
Fantastic. And just last one, it's a laundry list, I'm sorry.
No,
If we could get the line item budget, so broken down by line item expense, not by UCO code, but what are the expenses that are falling within each one of those, that would be huge. And that
Okay.
would make our lives easier as well on a monthly basis.
okay, will do.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have anything? All right, great. We are now on to item 4, discussion update, superintendent update as presented by Superintendent McCaffrey.
Mr. Chair, members of the school committee, as we prepare for the opening of the 26-27 school year, I want to review some of our updates. Staffing, our schools and human resource department have worked throughout the summer to fill vacancies, ensure the schools have the staffing needed to begin the school year successfully. Enrollment daily, we continue to closely monitor enrollment in real time, looking at registrations, looking at school and grade levels, particularly at the elementary grades. We will continue to be reviewing enrollment data during the next 2 weeks and make adjustments as necessary. Stay tuned. We see increases, decreases. I want to thank our Executive Director of Elementary Schools for surveying the student population and getting some good, helpful data that he can share with his principals and making adjustments. And over the next 2 weeks, we will have some hard numbers for you, where we stand. There are a lot of variables and a lot of moving parts when it comes to enrollment data. Under the operations, you heard from Director Oliver concerning the new construction. Regarding our maintenance division, they've been working diligently cleaning facilities and prepping schools for the opening at the end of the month. Thank you, Donna, and your team for taking care of matters. We have our transportation department that's currently routing buses. They're being scheduled, technology is being readied, and schools are completing all the operational details necessary for a successful opening. Overall, I'm pleased with our preparation for the new school year. We're looking forward to welcoming our students in the beginning to another successful school year. Under athletics and planning for in establishing a strategic plan for athletics, myself and the athletic director met with the Rhode Island Interscholastic League this past spring to review their regulations concerning consolidation, concerning co-ops. They reviewed both our high school and middle school programs. They indicated to us that we cannot combine into single programs, but where it makes sense, co-oping athletic teams is an option. But there are guidelines for that, and you have to meet those guidelines in order for the Interscholastic League to approve co-oping a team. This was all part of some of the work that Director Ricks is doing in preparation for his 3-year plan for athletics. I would say it was a very good meeting, very informative for me, someone who sits outside of athletics on a daily basis. So I'm pleased with the work that Director Ricks is doing in establishing a 3-year plan. We will be bringing a 3-year plan to you over the next 2 months for your review. All right. At the end of this month, we'll be having our first redistricting advisory committee meeting. It'll be scheduled for August 25th at 8 a.m. We'll be looking at enrollment data. We'll be looking at special services. We will be looking at transportation. We will be looking at all different factors that impact a school and what a school should look like and how a school should run most efficiently, given upon the data of where students may reside. So it's the first step. It's not something that can be solved in one meeting. It's going to take a few months. The goal of the process is to redistrict Warwick to make it as efficiently as possible to support students. Does it mean closing schools? No. Does it mean balancing schools? Yes. Does it mean making decisions based upon what our data says? Yes. Finally, this evening, I'd like to discuss the Gorton Administration Building. As you know, it's a large building. We are looking at alternatives for our administrative offices. But before we make that decision, last month you heard a presentation on the operating costs of the facility. This month, I'm able to bring to you an estimate regarding the roof at the Gorton Administration Building. The estimate by a third party was that it would cost approximately $2.1 million to re-roof the existing building. This is based upon the age of the building, which is 1944. Given the contingencies that are involved in a building of that age, when you do remove a roof, there's a tendency to find different unknowns that aren't visibly seen upon an inspection of the current roof. That's the number that we have for the existing structure at this point. Next meeting, hopefully I'll have all the estimates for the electricity and also heating, air conditioning, and window envelope, door envelope issues that may exist. And we'll present you all the data so you have the operating costs and then future expenses that may occur over the next 5 years. And then we can make a decision based upon data and move forward at that point, whether it makes sense or not makes sense to leave the facility. Finally, I would add that I have had a discussion with the mayor's chief of staff, a preliminary meeting with the chief of staff to discuss the Gorton Administration Building. We will have further discussions with the city. Obviously, it's not just a school department decision. The city's involved in the decision process as well. So that's where we are at this point regarding the Gorton Administration Building. Finally, I would just like to thank all the directors for all the work they've done on this process to get us to this point. Are there any questions concerning the update for August?
Mr. Wiggins.
How many co-op sports are we expecting now?
At this point, I know we have co-op hockey.
Just hockey?
Just hockey. There are different rules and different numbers that basically.
Nothing in the fall, though.
Nothing at this point. No. But you have to meet the guidelines, and they're very strict to meet the guidelines. We're just looking at everything. As you know, we've been we have a budget that's a 5-year deficit reduction plan. We're looking at everything. We're not looking to cut any programming. We're just looking to run as efficiently as possible. Where it made sense for Warwick to co-op in hockey. They didn't have enough players. To me, I want to see Warwick kids staying together. I don't want to see Warwick students, Warwick athletes playing for other high schools out there. It makes sense, and when it comes to hockey, to have all Warwick kids playing together and representing the city.
Anyone else? Ms. Kirby-Chapman.
You said August 25th is going to be the advisory to look at the redistricting. Who is
Yep.
on your advisory committee?
We will be putting out a list of members of that committee shortly. Okay. At this point, it's advisory. It sits outside of the school committee.
Anyone else? Just to confirm, before we do any capital improvements to Gorton, we'll iron everything out and make sure that it makes sense to do those investments?
Absolutely.
All right, great.
Absolutely. At this point, we're just collecting data to have all the numbers so we can make an informed decision on whether to vacate the facility or to stay at the facility.
Okay, Great. Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you, Superintendent.
You're welcome.
All right. Item 5, I'm looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, approval for return of LEA position at Cedar Hill and Scott Elementary.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on this from members of the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, approval for kindergarten teacher and teacher assistant at Norwood Elementary.
So moved.
Made by Ms. Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in, any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Testa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just so I better understand this, because neither of these positions are budgeted, so that doesn't mean I'm not for them. But in the memo, it says a final consideration is the 2 new ramp-up kindergarten classes at Lippert Oakland Beach. Those numbers are the lowest in the district at 2731. However, we anticipate needing room in those schools to support students in need of kindergarten ramp-up that are not yet to be identified. So what does that mean? Does that mean that the expectation is we'll have more students coming in?
Yeah, so the ramp-up Ks were developed as a response to what we've seen the past couple of years is students who we don't know about, who have registered for kindergarten, and when they show up, the kindergarten environment is not a good one for a start. And that's where you guys have gotten a lot of calls over the years from people saying like, hey, there's this kid in my child's kindergarten class who seems to be very dysregulated, right? So what we're trying to do is to create an environment, a small classroom environment, where we can continue to bring that student out into the general education classroom as often as we can to get them used to, well, what kindergarten is. Because many of these are also kids that never went to preschool. And they're having a very difficult transition to kindergarten.
So we set up the structure for that. Is the staff already there?
Yes.
So we can fill this pot a little bit until we
Correct.
determine whether or not it's too full. Now we might need extra staff.
Right. So we have 1 teacher, 2 TAs per
Okay.
classroom. We expect it to fill up fairly quickly.
Yep.
And part of it is diagnostic to see if some of these students, it's more than just an entirely new environment that they need to learn to adjust to, or whether or not there's a special education component there.
Okay.
And anybody that goes into it, the parents know it's maximum 1 year. It's just for kindergarten, and that if at any point during the course of the year we say, all right, yeah, we know exactly what this child needs, that they would then leave that classroom and move to whatever they needed.
Okay. And the second question I had, I don't think has to do with you, Mr. Carter, maybe it does. With respect to Norwood, with the 11 additional students, so what were the numbers and what will they be now as a snapshot today?
Mr. Dillon, can
Oh,
you
you
just
need a
bring that
microphone.
mic over to you?
The classroom at Norwood, there was 1 kindergarten classroom there. The numbers were 22, and they had 11 students waitlisted for that. And being that we're only August, today the 11th, we'll likely see that number grow. And there are other kindergartens with some wait lists, but those are like 2 or 3, maybe 4 at one of our elementary schools. But Norwood had by far the biggest need. And again, we're still kind of early in the registrations, believe it or not. So we thought that was a best idea to start there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Testa. Any other comments from members of the committee? Yes, Mr. Wiggins.
So obviously the need for K is important. I think a lot of people on the stage have talked about it, leading into this year. But as we see numbers in every classroom, I know the superintendent just mentioned that we're going to know more in 2 weeks. If say I'm gonna do, I'm related to Hoxie, so I know that there's a 3rd and a 4th. There's 2 of each. They're both maxed, from what I understand, according to talking to that principal. If we see these numbers rise and we need to add that 3rd classroom, that's when we're going to know in these next 2 weeks, 3 weeks is when And if that does happen, we would have to have an emergency meeting of the school meeting to add that class, correct?
Yes, as Superintendent McCaffrey said earlier, we just the numbers are still kind of fluid right now because we have students moving in, we have students moving out. We're making decisions on waitlisted students. We have special education students that we're still having some decisions about. So numbers, the elementary office has done a really good job of having really solid numbers, but I wouldn't say that they're 100% yet because they're only numbers. When the principals are back in the buildings, I would say by the middle of next week, they will have had the chance to really look at the numbers, really look at each family's names, and be able to say, yes, this kiddo, we knew in June that they were moving to Lincoln, so we didn't include them on the schedule. And then we got these 3 other move-ins from registration over the summertime. So there's that balancing that has to happen. And it's just, it's not 100% now, but it's, I will say my 11 years over at Robertson, we had times on August 28th, hey, we just had 3 kids move in over the weekend, and we did open up a classroom that late in the school year, that late in the summertime. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Usually it balances out pretty well. And maybe the numbers at Hoxie will be 26 and 26 or get down to 24, 25. It's just impossible to know for sure, but that's where we're at right now.
Thanks. I just wanted to bless you on your first day.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggins.
Anytime.
Thank you. Any other comments from members of the committee? I would just say, it's often mentioned within our community that we have an enrollment issue. But looking at the elementary numbers, our pipeline right now is strong, especially at the K level. Looking at the problem, it's a great problem to have, trying to determine, what we're going to do with these kindergartens, especially Holloman, Norwood, Hoxie, Scott. These are schools that are just busting at the seams. Sherman has great numbers. So it's great to see our elementary numbers coming up, and now it's a matter of it being highly competitive for this school committee and future school committees and this administration and future administrations to really compete to retain these students now into the secondary level and into the high school level, because we're seeing the numbers coming back. We've been talking about it for a while now. A lot of new houses being developed in the city of Warwick, and not all of them are being purchased by empty nesters. They're being purchased by people with young kids, and so that all of those kids are going to come back. These numbers are going to rebound. So, and we're seeing it now firsthand, and it's probably starting with this kindergarten level here. I joked about it once before, but just 5-6 years ago, it was COVID. People were limited in what they could do, and now we're seeing the byproduct here, folks. So I'll just leave it at that. Any other comments on this? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'd like to motion to table item 7, approval for a payroll manager.
So moved.
So,
Made by Mr. Testa and Ms.
Second.
Hazelwood, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. My colleagues, for the public's knowledge, were not opposed to taking these next items all as one. It's items 8 through 14. These are looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, contractor for management of student services, contract for behavior specialist facilitator, contract for assistant principal of Windman, contract for executive director of elementary, contract for controller, contract for senior accountant grants and bonds, and contract for coordinator of capital constructions and bonds.
so moved.
Made by Mr. Testa,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on any of these? All right. Anyone want to pull any of them out, or are we good still taking them as one? Good. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to move approval. Discussion, action, WTU grievance number 602. Yeah. Move approval on.
I'll move
Made by
approval.
Mr. Testa.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hazelwood.
I would like to request we table this.
Okay, there is a motion made by Mr. Testa to table. Seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on the tabling? Seeing none, so a vote now on the motion to table item 15, WTU grievance number 602. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0 to table item 15. At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, approval, 2026 to 2027 subrates.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on item 17, discussion action, memorandum of agreement, WTU for Spanish/Italian teacher at Pilgrim High School and Tollgate High School.
So moved.
Made by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion on this? Mr. Wiggins.
I just have a question, just based on the logistics of the city. As needed, and I don't know who to ask this. Who would ask?
Tracy?
So okay. So if somebody from Pilgrim has to be in Tollgate in 20 minutes to be at a class, is there contingencies here? Like I just, as I read it, it just didn't seem like there was a. It's like if when you need to move over, you gotta go over.
There's approximately 25 minutes in the
25.
schedule,
25.
and
It's 20 minutes. To
the
get
first 3 periods of the morning are frozen, the first 3 periods in the afternoon are frozen, so there's
Just want to make sure it wasn't.
ample time. We have other teachers that have done it in the past, and
Understood.
we actually used to move students, 50 students at a time across the city for career programming, so it can be done. It's a good time to travel. In the middle of the day, I wouldn't say, in the morning might be a challenge, but in the middle of the day, it's not as bad.
Typical Warwick question.
Yeah.
Right?
How many Dunkin' Donuts do they have to pass? How many Thank you, Mr. Wiggins. Any other discussions from members of the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 18, looking for a motion to move approval, discussion, action, memorandum of agreement, WISE TA temporary assignment.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Looking for a motion to move approval on item 19, discussion action, memorandum of agreement, WELP TA.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. Any discussion? Mr. Wiggins.
I'm just, I have a question about the memorandum only because it was actually dated in July. And then the question I ask is, if this is in effect, I know that we let all of the TAs go over at Welk, and then they're going to go back, and they're going to get their jobs back. I was just trying to understand a little bit more about the process here, like why we did this, and then there was a move to move TAs. Steve, I know. I just want to understand the process.
So this MOA that you're referring to, that was started in July to honor past practice. And then we've been in discussions with the WISE union about how to best utilize all of our staff to fulfill district staffing needs, and that's when the second MOA came on. Without that being approved, we're looking at restructuring those positions, so some people received displacement letters, which have now been rescinded. Did that answer?
Okay, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Currently in process right now, getting
you.
sent out.
Thank you. All set, Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Good.
Good.
Good. Anyone else? Seeing none? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We are on to item 20, discussion action, approval of FY 27 office expenditures, August expenditures. There are no change orders presented to us this evening. At this time, I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on the general funded requisitions.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Ms. Hazelwood and Mr. Wiggins. Any one for discussion? Yep,
Yes.
Mr. Testa.
Thank you. I have 4 of them, that's all. Simple questions. First one is Rec 270000135, the CCRI Running Start Program. It looks like it's relatively consistent from 25 through 26, but what UCOA code would this fall under? Is this out-of-district tuitions or one of those?
I'm going to have to review that and get back to you. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
yeah, I didn't expect you to have that answer. I should have reached out to you earlier. for that.
Mr. Testa, the question was brought up earlier, so he has it already queued up for you.
Okay.
I believe it was in the out-of-district tuitions line.
Okay,
Based
it's
upon
one.
the
It's
information I looked at this afternoon.
Yeah, there's a few of them. There's
Yeah.
2 or 3. Okay, all right.
And I can
That-
give you the whole line item. It's just a number you can't remember any of those. You
No, I know.
codes.
53202 is the one I always remember. Okay. Next question. I think this is for you, Mrs. Diaz. It's on the Tyler Technologies. Is this Munis? It is, right? Okay.
Yes, it is.
So the annual subscription fee is 202,000. I get that. We're estimating another 244 in remaining implementation costs. Is the intention to have the system fully implemented this fiscal year? So would we be looking to expend all of that theoretically in this fiscal year?
The plan is to go live with the HR payroll system January 1st. So if everything goes well, it should be fully implemented, and then there'll be some go-live expenditures that will probably incur. In the original quote, there was like about 400, I believe 475, let me see, 400. Trying to read this.
If my computer worked, I would have looked it up. It's not working. So.
Let's see if I have the, I don't think I have the, oh yes, I do have it right here. So the original contract did state the annual subscription fee of $202,888. And it also included $475,300 of implementation fees, of which we've already incurred, we've already incurred a little over $200,000 for fiscal, I believe fiscal 24, we began incurring it, and then fiscal 25, and then some in 26. So we have 244 outstanding of that quote. We are billed as we utilize the services. So if all goes well, we may not use it, but we don't know until we kind of get that.
So the issue before us is the 244.
Yes.
Not the annual subscription.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Because I was wondering, we had this in our budget though, right? In the 26 budget?
I believe it was in the 26 budget. I'm not finding it in the 27 budget, but I am still reviewing all of the allocations to see if perhaps it was allocated somewhere else and that I can transfer it to cover these expenses. But as of right now, I do not see it in the
Okay.
fiscal
And
27.
I was going to say predates you. So I would be very shocked and I would be very unhappy if in the FY27 budget, this $250,000 wasn't there.
Agreed.
And it's not because the department was short-staffed. Okay. Thank you. Next one is for Ms. Higgins, the AAA mobile storage, the 10,800. Is that an annual number, roughly? And it. Okay. Excellent. And the last one, postage, Pitney Bowes. So I know over the course of years, if you look at the history, the number of pieces we mail has dropped by about 2/3. But I'm just wondering, are there other things that we can send electronically? Are there things we have in contracts that require us to use U.S. postage on a go-forward basis? We're not talking a lot of money, but it's the principle of the thing. This is 2026, and I know there are some things by law we have to mail, and I get that. Right?
I think we are trying to reduce it even more. We have moved most of our AP disbursements to electronic payment. We still have to mail some, but contractually, I'm not aware of other items that we are contractually obligated to pay postage for, but we do continue to look at it to reduce that cost.
Okay. That's for Mr. Hennius. He can figure out if the contract's having a language in there. And that's all I had, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Kirby-Chapman.
I was wondering, Ms. Antonelli, so with the Learning A through Z, being that it's targeting the K through 3, is this an in-school program? The Learning A through, because I was wondering how is this going to be affected if we're kind of reeling back on the Chromebooks with K through 3 students? Like, is this something that they do in classroom, the Learning A through Z?
So there's two different pieces to that. I know some of that goes to RAA. They have a Learning A through Z that we use for them. And then in school, it's usually used for like a tier 2 instruction or differentiated instruction. They do have books that can be downloaded and printed, as well as assessments that can be downloaded and printed, and they do have an online piece. You have to, it's licensed, so you have to have licenses for the online portal to be able to download and print any resources from there. So we would still need the licenses for that, but teachers can choose to either print or use devices for activities. It's still, we're not taking away all devices. Every classroom K2 will still have at least a 10-pack of devices, and all of that should be done in small group because it is a tier 2 intervention. It shouldn't be your core instruction. I know it's used a lot with our MLL students and with our special ed students. And then some core level teachers use it for tier 2. So it is something that would be used in small group, and the Chromebooks that we have should be more than enough to cover what would be needed if they do choose to do it online.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kirby-Chapman. Anything else? I'll just, for fun, when I first got on the school committee, Mr. Testa's big thing was keeping a running total of our school lunch debt. And so what I've adopted now for this fiscal year is any expense that was like listed conservatively or that was underestimated within the deficit reduction plan. So tonight, within this packet, we have one that's coming in at higher than what was initially planned, and that's for the Rhode Island School of the Deaf. So that's another cost that went up. The other thing I want to add is special education tuition obligations. For those that didn't take a look at the packet that's before us tonight,
It's unbelievable.
this is a $10.8 million vote we're about to take. It's special education services. These are to provide students with a free and appropriate public education when their educational, behavioral, therapeutic, or medical needs cannot be adequately met through programs and services available within Warwick Public Schools. So I'm highlighting this because these costs are going up annually. So as a district, we have two choices. We go to the city and we ask for more money for these costs that continue to go up, or we can roll the dice and try to bring these services in-house, but that's going to increase our headcount. It's also going to increase our general fund request as well, because we might need materials for some of these classroom settings. We're also going to need the space. So I just want to highlight this because when we as a committee discussed the deficit reduction plan, at that time, we still didn't have all of our finite figures for these special education tuitions. And so I'll just name off a couple in case people were just curious of like, where are these students going? Briggs, Groden, Harmony Hill, Meeting Street, Mount Pleasant Academy, Ocean State Academy, Ocean State Learning Academy, Bradley. There's several locations. We just discussed the Rhode Island School of the Deaf, the Sargent Center, Tides, Trudeau Pathways, West Bay, Rhode Island Alternative Academy, DCYF, just to name a few off that list. So this is a $10.8 million, a single expenditure within this packet that we're about to take a vote on. So I felt obligated to touch on that. And then the last one that really grinds my gears is Mr. Testa touched on the CCRI Running Start. This is a legal obligation that we pay for students in high school, which I think it's a great opportunity. These high school students can go to college and start to accrue college credits. However, we get charged $6,000 per student, right? And it was my understanding after discussion today, it's $8 per pilgrim, $8 for tollgate. So it's about a $94,000 expense. But the moment they graduate in June, if they have a certain grade point average, they can go to CCRI for free. But it's being billed back to us now. So the irony in this, that the local education authorities are being billed now for students getting a leg up, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So I just felt compelled that when going through all of our invoices tonight, we have one that's a $10.8 million expense, and that's what's driving up our budget. And these special ed costs are going to continue to rise. Plus, I believe, last I looked with the city of Warwick, we were like second or third in the state for highest population of students requiring special services. So that's also adding to kind of our financial needs. So I feel it's best for transparency and for the public's knowledge that this is a big vote we're about to take here. And we've requested that special services, and I appreciate you putting this in because it's $1 that we're about to spend, and so we should be voting on this. But it also gives the public the opportunity to see this tremendous cost. So, Mr. Test.
Thank you. And I just want to piggyback on that, on the special ed vote, because I think I tallied this up when we first got the documents. The average expenditure is $100,000 a year, right? And this is a necessity. We have to provide these services. You can't bring these kinds of services in-house because you can't staff up to them. You don't have the room, as the chair said. And I just say generally, for some, there's no shortage of critics about what school departments have to do, and there'll never be a shortage of critics. There'll never be a shortage of ignorance either. So this is part and parcel of public education. If people don't like it, that's too bad, right? You got to pay for it. You got to fund this, right? So there was a time where these services weren't afforded to these kids. It wasn't that long ago. So, for those who like to criticize budgets and everything else, who really don't know the depth of what's in the budget, I mean, I don't have any tolerance for that. So, I want to just commend you and your department, and I think this was a very valuable piece to put in the agenda for tonight.
Not to butt in on it, but besides tuition, they also cost us a lot of money for transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And the transportation is something the state can step in and fix for districts.
They're the ones charging
It
us.
chooses not to.
Yeah.
Right? Right. So,
Right?
yeah.
Say
exactly.
it louder for us, Mr. Carter. Who is?
The state is the one that's charging us for it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other discussion on general funded requisitions? Ms. Hazelwood?
I just wanted to, Mr. Carter, we know these are legal obligations. We don't have a choice, and we wouldn't want to not give the students their needs.
Those types of placements are the most restrictive environment, and we're
Mhm.
obligated to try to educate every child in their least restrictive environment. So when we get to this point, it's usually something fairly severe.
And even just one is $154,000. That's one placement.
Well, yeah,
Just one.
One tuition for something like Trudeau Pathways is $130,000 for the next coming year.
Do you see anywhere in any of these cases where we could begin developing a program that could meet any of these needs? Because our goal is always to educate in-house.
Yeah, we've looked at it a number of times over the years, and it almost comes out to be almost pretty equally expensive for us because of the need for space, and then the number of teachers and TAs per room would be quite a bit.
Okay. Just wanted to make that clear for the public.
Right, it would
That if
probably
we
end up
could,
coming out
we,
more.
We would.
Yeah.
If we could, we would.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Hazelwood. Anything else from members of the committee on general funded requisitions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I'd be looking for a motion to move approval on external funded requisitions. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. Any discussion on external funded requisitions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're now on to the second public comment portion of our meeting. Individual comments will be respectfully limited to 3 minutes per person, with public comment not to exceed 45 minutes. Though the content of comments will not be restricted, it is the hope of this committee that citizens, committee members, and the administration alike will be respectful of each other's right to speak, tolerant of different points of view, and mindful of everyone's time. This public comment period is for general comments or concerns. Speakers are asked to state their name for the record. Again, down here to the left, and one after another. And if you wouldn't mind just turning that microphone on and saying your name for the record.
Hi again. Mary Townsend, special ed teacher assistant for 44 years and Wise Union president. I just want to thank you all for asking those questions about our students who are out of district, because I have been here for a long, long time. And we are best known for the fact that we do everything possible within our programs, our classrooms. This district does more than other districts that I know of. When I first came to work here, people were moving here for our programs. So I know that if those students are in another placement, the parents have agreed to it. It's in an IEP and it's necessary. So thank you. I do know it costs a lot of money, but safety first.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend. It's money well spent.
Hello, Darlene Netco again. I just wanted to follow up on Mr. Galligan's comments regarding Running Start. Mr. Testa brought it up too. And you are correct. They graduate from high school, the students go to CCRI and they don't pay. That's part of that Project Hope, which is a great program for high school graduates in Rhode Island to be able to get their tuition paid at CCRI for 2 years and earn their associate's degree. And they can get tuition paid at Rhode Island College for 2 years too, for the third and fourth year, for them to get their degree from Rhode Island College. We also have students in the EEP program. Prior to this Project Hope, students had to pay themselves to be in the EEP program to receive the credits, but those credits are now free. So EEP is a congruent education where the students are Tollgate and Pilgrim high school students and also Rhode Island College students, and they are earning college credits from Rhode Island College, but they're not paying for it. So there is no earthly reason why districts should have to pay for Running Start. And that is one of the many problematic vicissitudes that we have here in education in Rhode Island, thanks to RIDE and whatever other organizations are out there. My other comment has to do with the ad building. And if you have looked into renting space out, there's that whole first floor ready to be rented out. We had the elementary schools using that space, so we know it can be closed off the way the city rents from AAA, and AAA gets the money. So this would be another source of revenue, and I'm not sure if you have been able to look into that, but that is something. And then also when you're looking at the ad building, if you have looked at the deed, because I've never seen the deed myself, but I do know there's the rumor out there that that land can only be used for educational purposes. Thank you.
Can we cohabitate in the WTU union office? Maybe put a couple of them in there?
A couple of, well, it depends on which administrators you would like to put in there.
Well, Bill, you get to go in there? Who was that at?
Not really sure how to follow that up. Dawn Manchester, the principal of Norwood School, and I wanted to state publicly my gratitude for the approval of our kindergarten position. We have a substantial wait list, and we are more than willing and welcoming all students from all different our schools that have wait lists, obviously. And when they walk into our building, they will always be Norwood Knights and treated as such, no matter what is going on and where we're coming from. We are extremely excited to open that second kindergarten, knowing that there is such a budget crunch and a deficit. So we do appreciate your time, your consideration, and thoughtfulness around that. So thank you.
Thank you, Principal Manchester. Have a great year over there. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Mr. Kane, anything from you tonight? Nope. All right. We are on a docket session. This portion of the meeting is for school committee members to request items to be docketed for future agendas or for items to be assigned to subcommittees by the school committee chair. No action will be taken on any request made. Any item raised will be appropriately noticed for consideration on a future agenda. We'll start at the far end. Mr. Tessa, anything you'd like to docket? Mr. Tessa.
Is this thing on? Okay. Actually, I do. I would like to docket something for the future for the administration to explore a payroll service. in the world I come from, I haven't been in an organization that has done a largely manual payroll in about 25, 30 years. I don't know anything about payroll services. I don't know how expensive they are. I don't know if it's cost effective because of our size, we're about approximately 1,400 employees, if that's a tipping point where it makes it feasible. I think, it's just 2026, and I've said it before, we should be doing very few things manually. So if we're doing a lot of manual stuff, we're doing something wrong. I think it's worth exploring. So I'm not putting a timetable on it. That's up to the administration, but I think it's something that should absolutely be explored with an organization this big.
Do you want to say, what do you think is a reasonable time for an update? 90 to 120 days?
Yeah.
Come back to you?
Yep.
Okay.
So
So
that would be something that if it became feasible, wouldn't be until next fiscal year anyway, right?
So Ms. Tedeschi, and do you mind if I co-sponsor that? I
Sure.
like that.
More the merrier.
We have a discussion update request from Mr. Testa on exploring outsourcing of payroll services. Anything else, Mr. Testa? Oh, and for a presentation in 120 days, so whatever that would be, December or January? Okay. Mr. Wiggins, would you like to docket anything?
Yeah, I again, timing wise, I'm assuming this would need time, but just ultimately a long-term plan for the WELC program. I know ultimately we did the MOU today, obviously with those 20 Friday days. I think that maybe should be a real look at how we look at WELC and treating it more like the other schools and giving them opportunities for planning where those Fridays are not necessary or needed. So perhaps giving them an opportunity to have their planning time. So they're treated like everyone else in the district. They're not the WELC, and then there's everybody else, which it seems like that's what it is. As far as timing is concerned,
We got to stick to just docketing the resolution to be cautious of the OMA.
So
you're looking for a discussion update
on the future of WELC
and approximate
60. 120. What?
120 days as well. You want to do January, because then that would be right.
60 good. 60 good for you. I just would like to look at what that would look like.
Okay. We
Sorry
have a
for
discussion
running
update, future of WELC, to be presented in the next 60 days.
Yes.
60. Thank you. Anything else? Nope.
No.
Okay. Ms. Kirby-Chapman? Nothing? Ms. Hazelwood? Nothing? Okay. I have nothing to docket this month. We are on to future meetings. Next policy subcommittee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. The next building committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 2nd, 2026 at 7:30 a.m. The next monthly school committee meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 10th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. The next health and wellness and fiscal subcommittee meetings are TBD at this time. On behalf of the school committee citywide representative, Mr. Testa, school committee-wide representative, Mr. Wiggins, District 3 representative and clerk, Ms. Michelle Kirby-Chapman, our District 2 representative and vice chairwoman, Ms. Hazelwood, and myself, I want to wish all of our administrators, our faculty, our staff, our parents, and our students a great and successful and safe 2026 to 2027 school year. Being that there's no other matters of business before us, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Made by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Wiggins and Ms. Hazelwood. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries at 7:53.